All right. So the reason why I wanted you guys to actually check out the the actual instrumental is because it's a way different. So this is what I want to get into, right? So this is part of Stepper Sunday. So I'm going to give you guys the actual breakdown of the creative process of creating a song because if you're like me, so we'll get more into this, but I've always been a fan of music, but it's way different when you're actually creating music, like two different things. So this being said, let's get into why I chose the beat, right? So each you'll see what we're doing. So why I chose the beat. So for me, the beats like speak to me. Like when I hear the actual beat, it's like I feel it. So when you guys saw me right there, it's like I feel the actual beat. I feel the music. I hear the music. So me being able to feel and hear the music like that, there's certain songs like within a beat, when a beat comes on within like the first 5, 10 seconds, I know if I want to write to the song or not. Because it's like I actually write, and this is another thing we're gonna talk about. So how I actually write the music is by writing to the beat. So I was watching when I first started music and just first started on this journey, which was like back in June. The first thing I know that there's a transition occurring is because I started learning about something. It's no different with wholesale real estate. I started learning about it, and then it actually happened in my life experience. So it's the same thing that's happening right now with music. So I started learning about it, and the first thing I learned is like you can either write your music to when you have no beat, right? And that's like little freestyles and stuff. But the where we're at right now in society and where the music is at is that there's always nice to have there's this perfect mix. So you want to give them bars, you want to give them content, but you also have to have a bounce to it. You also have to have a rhythm or a melody to it. So that being said, I just decided to start from the beginning to train myself to start writing from actual hearing the music. I rather write from actually hearing the music than to actually write without it. But I like to write without it as well. But that's when I actually work with the producer who can hear the beats because I hear beats in my head. I don't do the beats yet, right? I ain't getting that. But anyway, let's get into it. So this being said, why I chose that specific beat for me, guys, when it came on, I just loved when I first heard it. It was like boom, the flutes and like the whole little thing that just I just thought, ooh, I just felt it, right? So me being able to feel it is why I wrote to it. So that just, I mean, there's really no way I can really describe. But any beat that I write to, I actually feel the beat. So I like that. You actually feel it, and when you feel it, you feel in all the little ticks and the melodies and every little thing that's hitting in through it. All right. That being said, guys, one thing that's interesting about this whole thing is like for me to be able to discover beats, me to be able to discover hiking, and me to be able to start this YouTube channel. All of this came from this little thing called investing in wholesale real estate, right? So wholesale real estate. So this is why we're here today. This is ultimately how we're here today. Is me being able to start investing in real estate, wholesale real estate, successfully. And consistently. So me being able to do that has led me to be able to discover other hobbies and passions. But music is way more than a hobby. It's more like when I first discovered wholesale real estate. It's like I'm transcending into it, no different than where I was at in life at that specific point. And if you're familiar more with the journey, like learn more about the journey itself, take a look at Steps to Success, season number 1, episode number 4. And you learn about my mindset and where I was at with transitioning into wholesale real estate. That's how I feel about music right now, transitioning into it, learning about it, just becoming absorbed into it. This being said, though, when it comes to wholesale real estate for yourself, the reason why just real estate investing, like wholesale real estate is step one in a real estate investing career. This is why, in the beginning, when I put up, you can start investing today with no money down. It's important to, maybe do that if you are looking into, if you want to start investing in real estate and you don't have any money to start investing in real estate, right? So there's some video that I put up where you have three, there's 4 skills that you need to have, right? So there's 4 skills to possibly have. And if you have one of them, then you're able to be successful in something. But ideally, if you only have one, then you want to find somebody who has the other, right? So when it comes to real estate investing, if you got the hustle and the skill, then you can put those two together to actually get a wholesale deal. But that being said, you don't have the money, right? Because the money is another part of it. So you don't have the money to actually invest in the property to be able to, maybe fix that property up. So say a red piece of paper example I gave you earlier. So this red piece of paper, you don't have the money to actually turn this red piece of paper into a yellow piece of paper, right? So since you don't, you want to find somebody who's looking for a red piece of paper, not a yellow piece of paper, but they want to pay a different price for the red piece of paper than they'll pay for that yellow piece of paper, right? So imagine instead of you actually just selling that red piece of paper, imagine if you took, let's just say a couple dollars and turned that red piece of paper into a yellow piece of paper. So now if you bought that red piece of paper at $5 and sold it at $7, just because you want to make a little quick what's call it off of it, instead of doing that, you'll be able to put, let's say, $2 into that red piece of paper and you turn it into a yellow piece of paper, but now you sell this yellow piece of paper for, let's say, $17. So that way your net profit is $10 as opposed to $2. So that's the difference between wholesale real estate. When you're wholesaling real estate, you're putting yourself in a position where yeah, you don't have to do anything to the actual property, right? But at the same time, you're not maximizing the equity. You're not maximizing what you can get out of the deal itself. And especially when you're going directly to the seller, which is even more important in this time that we're in, being able to go directly to the seller, being able to go directly to the seller is a very important thing because there's so many people who want to maximize their profits. But when you're going directly to the seller, you're finding somebody who's in maybe a distressed situation, or they're maybe they just want to get rid of the property because they have so many properties or they have so much going on in their life, right? But usually it's a distressed situation, and maybe it's because they don't like the property, right? But this being said, either way, when it comes to you as a stepper today, how you can get started is by starting to just pick up the phone and start cold calling. Now, if you'd like to learn more about all of that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and also be sure to check out the real estate or the playlist, how to get your first wholesale deal in 10 days. And also check out the playlist, or actually the ebook, how to get your first wholesale deal. And tune in to Stepper Sundays, guys, because we're mixing it all together right here, as you can see. So that being said, let's think